All right, let's jump right into a story that's, well, it's pretty incredible. We're going to start with an event that seems to defy all belief. So, I want you to picture this. We're in ancient Mecca. It's the 13th day of the month of Rajab, and the Kaaba, right, the absolute center of worship, it becomes the stage for something that just, it doesn't make any sense, logically speaking. And the people who saw it, they were just completely stunned. They knew right then and there that they were witnessing a real deal, divine miracle unfolding in front of them.
But here's the thing. To really get the impact of this incredible light, we first have to talk about the darkness it cut through. We've got to set the stage and understand the kind of world this miracle happened in.
This was a society where might made right. Simple as that. If you were strong, you crushed the weak. No questions asked. And compassion? That was seen as a liability, something to be taken advantage of. And the value of a human life? Tragically low, especially if you were a woman. You had no rights, no voice. And in the most horrifying cases, if a daughter was born, she could be seen as such a burden that, well, it led to the unthinkable practice of burying them alive. So, what about the Kaaba itself, this sacred place? A house that was built for one god had over time turned into a showcase for hundreds of idols. Stone, wood, metal, you name it. Each one for a different tribe, a different need. So, you see the picture, right? The key thing to remember is that the whole society was soaked in practices that completely went against what the Kaaba was supposed to stand for. We're talking about a world in some serious spiritual and social decline. But, and this is a big but, even in the middle of all that darkness, there was one family, one household that was holding on to something different, a completely different set of values. And this right here is where the whole story takes a turn. You've got the outside world driven by pride, greed, worshiping all these idols, and then you have the family of Banu Hashim, led by Abu Talib. They were like this little island of humility, generosity, and belief in one God. This contrast, it's not just a side note, it's everything. It's the soil where this miracle is going to take root. And right at the heart of this family was its matriarch, Fatima bint Asad. She was these principles. People knew her for her deep faith and her wisdom. And get this, they say she never, not once, bowed to an idol. Just imagine that, holding firm to your belief in one God when you're surrounded by hundreds of them. She wasn't just the wife of the leader, Abu Talib. She was also the loving guardian to her nephew, Muhammad. His parents were gone, and she stepped in, raising him with so much love, you'd think he was her very own son.
Okay, so now that we have the background, let's get to the climax. Let's see how all of this, the dark world, the family of faith, builds up to that unbelievable miracle we talked about at the start.
So, on that day, the 13th of Rajab, as her labor pains started, Fatima bint Asad felt this powerful pull, an urge to go to the one place that was most sacred to her. She went right to the Kaaba, laid her hand on its stone walls, and she prayed. She prayed to the one God she had always believed in. And then, something impossible happened. Right in front of everyone, a crack appeared in the wall of the Kaaba. The stone itself parted, opening up just enough for her to walk inside. And as soon as she was in, it sealed itself shut again. It was like the building itself was giving her sanctuary. For 3 whole days, she was inside. Can you imagine the scene outside? The news spread like wildfire. All of Mecca was buzzing. People gathered around, just waiting, watching, wondering, what on earth is going to happen next? And then, on the 4th day, at that exact same spot, the wall opened again. And this is where the story takes another incredible, totally fascinating twist.
Fatima emerged, and in her arms was her newborn son. But something was strange. Here's this baby, born in the holiest place imaginable, and he hadn't opened his eyes. He wouldn't eat. It was a whole new mystery.
So, of course, everyone's asking, what is he waiting for? Or maybe, who is he waiting for? Why would a baby refuse to see the world he was just born into?
Well, as soon as her nephew, Muhammad, heard what was happening, he rushed over. He went right to his aunt, Fatima, and he gently took the baby into his own arms. And in that moment, everything changed. The baby opened his eyes for the very first time, and the first thing he ever saw was the face of Muhammad. The prophet then gave the infant some of his own saliva, and it was only after that that the baby finally began to feed. An incredible, sacred bond was formed right there. Later that night, the baby's father, Abu Talib, had a dream, and in this dream, a voice came to him and told him what this child's name was meant to be. It was a name that perfectly fit his miraculous birth, a name that signified just how special he was.
And that's how the baby born inside the Kaaba, the one who waited to see the prophet's face, got his name. His father named him Ali.
So when you hear a story like this, it's about so much more than just a birth, right? It really makes you think, how do these impossible-seeming events, these miracles, end up shaping the very foundation of a people's faith, their history, and their identity for generations to come?